Do you feel like you could get a lot more work done if you didn't have to deal with so many interruptions and distractions on the job? I understand what it can be like. You're good at what you do. However, you find yourself interrupted whenever you get in that good flow. You want to be able to work on your most important things and not have to deal with distractions, some of which may not be that important. Today, we're going to talk about distractions, and you should be concerned about them because distractions can rob you of your productive time and limit your potential. We're going to talk about one that I call acting like a firefighter. In this scenario, I want you to imagine with me for a moment. Imagine that we are walking into a fire station. So let's look around the inside of the fire station. What do we see? There's a couple firefighters who are watching TV, a few are in the kitchen making some food, and some of them are playing a game. Right now, the firefighters are able to do whatever they like. Their time is their own. But the moment that alarm goes off, they have to drop everything and respond to that emergency with 100% focus. Whether the emergency turns out to be something really serious, like a 5-alarm fire, or somewhat less serious, like, a cat rescued from a tree. That's the job of a firefighter, and we want them to do that. But should you be acting like a firefighter on the job? So let's think about your world. What is it like? Can you prevent yourself from being a firefighter on the job? I know at times it can be hard. Let me take you back a few years when I was in charge of a business. And I was having to deal with a lot of challenges in the moment. I'm looking through all these spreadsheets, checking our revenue projections. It's a little tight, so I'm feeling a little nervous. Out of the corner of my eye, I see Gail. Gail is part of my executive team. She's walking towards my office, and I can tell she's kind of mad because she's got this look on her face. She seems all angry, and then she stomps her foot down in front of my desk. She goes, "Ken, we have too much toilet paper. What are you going to do about it?" And then she storms off. In that moment, I became a firefighter because I dropped all of the things I was doing in order to investigate the toilet paper situation. Here's what I found out. Our firm had been closed for the holidays, so we had been using less toilet paper. We had a shelf where we would hold the extra toilet paper. We continued to get our monthly deliveries of toilet paper. As a result, yes, the shelf had more toilet paper on it than it could hold. What were we to do? Okay, not a big problem in my mind. We could reduce next month's regularly scheduled order of paper products. That wouldn't be too hard. Maybe we could also find another storage location or an additional storage location for the toilet paper. Easy fixes. I don't know about you, but in my world, having too much toilet paper, not much of a problem. Having too little, different story. But for an otherwise good employee, on that day, she thought the most important thing that I needed to be doing was squeezing the Charmin. So how do you fix this problem? How can you overcome acting like a firefighter? Let's go through a few strategies. The first strategy. This involves a discovery that you may make. You realize that a lot of these distractions happen when other people are around. So it would make sense. If you can avoid the other people, there will be fewer distractions. So you start to do this thing where you come in early, you stay late, and you work through lunch. And yeah, you're able to get more done because people aren't around distracting you as much. However, there's a downside because you are coming in early, staying late, and working through lunch. And eventually, you're going to burn out. I only suggest this strategy for really short amounts of time. Don't make it a daily thing. Otherwise, you're going to start to make mistakes because you're tired, which doesn't equal the amount of time you're putting in, that extra time. Keep that in mind. Let's take some inspiration from university professors. They have these things called office hours. Maybe you've heard of them. During office hours, let's say 12:30 to 2 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, you're able to come and visit with the professor. You can talk about a grade, ask for help, shoot the breeze, whatever. The door is open. Once those office hours are done, the professor is able to close the door and keep it closed. He or she can work on things like publishing, grading papers, or whatever he or she wants to do. That time is their own. Why? Because they created a little bit of a barrier. Can you create a barrier in your world? Now, some people get real nervous when they say, "You mean I can close my door?" Yes, you can close the door. If people are used to coming to your door a lot and walking in, maybe close the door and put up a sign. Make it a little funny. Like you could say, "Slaying dragons, please come back later unless it's an emergency." That way you let people know, I'm working on stuff, I'm not against you talking to me later, but right now I have to focus. Another barrier, our phones and our email. Can you not check those for a while? Can you turn off the notifications? It depends on your industry, depends on your workday, but will the world end if you spend 15, 20, 30 minutes focused on an important task and not being distracted by little notifications, which might not be that important, like about birthday cake in the break room? Another way people sometimes make a barrier in their schedule is to change their location. So it's harder for people to find you and distract you. This can be done by moving perhaps to an empty conference room, a space where you're not usually working, that's open. You can go spend some time and again, really focus on some of your big priorities, your big picture goals, those stuff that you never get done because you're always being distracted. Finally, we'll go real big picture here. You might want to talk to some of your colleagues about how everyone communicates with each other. This is especially true with emails and text messages. What is the level of urgency where you want people to send you a message immediately? Or is it something where it could wait? In cases where organizations use email a lot, I'll say, why don't you have your employees start at the beginning of the day, start an email to you, and they will, as the day goes on, note certain developments. Hey, we got a call back from this, we got this. All of these things are non-urgent items, but good to know. They start that email, maybe they send it at noon and then again at 5 p.m. So that's 2 emails that have all these little notifications in them. Instead of sending a bunch of notifications, that fills up your inbox very quickly. So that might also be a way to reduce the distractions while still providing good support to your employees. Talk about what is urgent, what's nice to know, and agree pretty much on where you think it should be. Are people coming to you with all these little interruptions, distracting you, simply because they don't know what to do? Okay, I understand that. That's a training issue. The good news is, in today's world, there are more options for people to be trained online, in person, you name it, they exist. So if someone is deficient in a skill, they can learn that skill. That is possible. I also want to ask you, are people coming to you all the time with all these questions, these issues, distracting you from your big picture goals because they don't think they're allowed to make a decision without your blessing? I have to admit, at times, I can be a little bit of a control freak. I like things done a certain way. But I also understand if I have to touch everything and be involved with every decision, and that's going to take a lot of my time. And I don't think I have that time. And really, my expertise may not make a difference. So can you set up a scenario? You hire good people. You make sure they're trained. You make sure they understand the expectations and they know what to do. And then later, you can go over the outcomes. And if the outcomes aren't quite there, you can make further evaluation, but you're not having to touch everything because it will become a huge distraction and an ongoing problem. So there are several suggestions or ways that you can get some more time in your day by limiting the distractions. There are always going to be fires burning in your job. Make sure you're not playing the role of firefighter all day.